Shadows over Rivertown Number 2. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The shadowy figure's laugh echoed in her mind as she drove Emily to the hospital for a checkup. Emily was still in shock, but she managed to give a brief description of her captor, tall, wearing a mask, and speaking in a low, gravelly voice. After ensuring Emily was in safe hands, Sarah returned to the Henderson mansion. She and Officer Johnson combed through the basement, looking for clues that might have been overlooked in the initial search. They found an old, tattered journal hidden behind a loose brick in the wall. The journal contained cryptic notes and strange symbols, none of which made immediate sense. "This might be the clue we need," Sarah said, flipping through the pages. "We need to get this to the lab for analysis." As the days passed, the journal revealed more about the mansion's dark history. It spoke of a secret society that had used the mansion for their rituals. The society was believed to be long gone, but the recent events suggested otherwise. Sarah's investigation pointed to a few names connected to the society, and she began to dig deeper into their backgrounds. One name stood out: Dr. Henry Clark, a local historian with a reputation for eccentric behavior. Sarah decided to pay him a visit. Clark lived in a secluded house on the outskirts of town, surrounded by overgrown gardens and ancient trees. As she approached the house, she felt a sense of foreboding. Dr. Clark answered the door, his eyes wary but curious. "Detective Matthews, what brings you here?" he asked, his voice tinged with amusement. "Dr. Clark, I'm investigating the disappearance of Emily Davis, and I found something at the Henderson mansion that points to your involvement," Sarah said, holding up the journal. Clark's eyes widened for a moment before he composed himself. "Ah, the journal. A relic of a bygone era. What do you want to know?" "Everything you can tell me about the secret society that used to operate there," Sarah replied. Clark invited her in and began to recount the history of the society. He spoke of their rituals, their members, and their ultimate goal: to harness supernatural powers. As he spoke, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something. Just as she was about to press him further, her phone buzzed. It was Officer Johnson. "Sarah, we've got a lead on the shadowy figure. Someone matching the description was seen near the old mill on the edge of town." Sarah thanked Clark and left, her mind racing. She drove to the old mill, where Johnson and a few other officers were already canvassing the area. The mill was a dilapidated structure, its windows broken and its walls covered in ivy. As they entered, the air was thick with dust and the scent of decay. They moved cautiously, flashlights cutting through the darkness. Suddenly, a noise echoed from the upper floor. They rushed up the creaking stairs, weapons drawn. There, in the dim light, stood the shadowy figure. He turned to face them, a wicked grin on his masked face. "You think you can stop us?" he sneered. Sarah stepped forward, her gun steady. "It's over. Surrender now." The figure laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down her spine. "This is just the beginning," he said, before throwing a smoke bomb at their feet. The room filled with thick, choking smoke, and by the time it cleared, he was gone. In the aftermath, Sarah found a piece of paper where the figure had stood. It was another page from the journal, with a single, ominous message: the ritual must be completed. The pursuit of the shadowy figure and the mystery of the secret society had only just begun. Sarah knew that until they were stopped, no one in Rivertown was safe. She vowed to uncover the truth and bring those responsible to justice, no matter the cost.